Hi guys, George here, talking about yet another Kevin Smith thing on this episode of Dear Kevin. So, as I said in the previous videos, we're going in order here. I'm following Kevin Smith's film career and other career as chronologically as I can. There'll be some ins and outs, some skipping forward and back, I'm sure, but for the most part I'm going in order, which means, having finished all of the early View Askew movies, Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Dogma, and Janet Silent Bob Strike Back, that Jersey Girl should be next. His first non-Janet Silent Bob related film, his first PG-13 film, and to date his only PG-13 film, and, you know, a bit of a departure for him. But before we get to that, he did something else. He did An Evening with Kevin Smith. There's the DVD, 2-disc set. So, if you're a fan of Kevin, you know that he tours around colleges and theaters, other venues, and does extensive Q&As, hours long, in some cases answering every single question that's available to him. I think he's done like 9-hour shows before, where he just gets on stage and stays there for 9 hours without a break, talking to anybody who wants to talk to him. He's been doing this since, you know, doing his first Q&A with Clerks back at Sundance or the IFFM. And he fell in love with talking to the audience. He said on many occasions, like, that's really what he does. That's really what he wants to do. He's not a filmmaker as much as he is a storyteller who wants to tell people stories and meet people who get the story. People that he wants to share something and have something shared with him. That's what he's looking for. So this Q&A set, made after Janet Silent Bob Strike Back, look at the fucking glare on this, made after Janet Silent Bob Strike Back and before Jersey Girl. So it falls right in the middle here. In this video, it's about 4 hours long, 2 discs. He travels to like 5 or 6 different colleges and answers a bunch of questions from fans, most of whom are college-age kids. There's a bunch of great stories on here. If you've been following Kevin at all, you probably heard him make reference to the Prince story, or the Superman story, or the Time I Cut My Dick Open story. Those are the 3 big like highlights on this set. So he got to go meet Prince. And I'm sure anybody out there who's, you know, under the age of 20 is like, who the fuck is Prince? Prince was a musical god in the 80s. Go watch Purple Rain, kids. It's awesome. Excellent movie. And one of Kevin Smith's biggest heroes. And he got a chance, Kevin did, got a chance to go hang out with Prince at his home called Paisley Park. Kind of like a Wonderland Michael Jackson thing, except without child rape. This huge fucking estate that Prince has. He got to go there for a while and shoot a documentary about Prince and about his album. And he tells this awesome story about how fucking batshit insane, but wonderful, I guess, Prince is. If you've ever seen the Dave Chappelle sketch where Prince plays basketball with Charlie Murphy, same kind of stuff. If that's not false, like that's a true story. Prince is absolutely batshit insane, and Kevin Smith tells his version of that story because he had his own experience with Prince. The Superman story, it's covered at length in the documentary that just came out. Oh, what's it called? It's about Superman Lives. The Death of Superman Lives, that's what it's called. Which was a script that was going to be made, a film that was going to be made in the 90s, the next Superman movie, a reboot, with Tim Burton directing, Nicolas Cage starring Superman, and Kevin Smith was hired to write the script. It never happened, obviously, but it's a fantastic story about how he got the job, when he met this producer, and the producer's notes involving a giant spider. Fantastic story. And the last one is a very sweet but vulgar story about how Kevin met his wife and the first time they had sex, wherein he had an open sore on his dick that she caused by grinding against him, making out with him for like an hour. So this DVD covers the gambit of film stories, behind-the-scenes stories. There's some real random shit happening because, you know, you're dealing with drunk college kids who ask really goofy questions, and Kevin gamely plays along and answers them. This is where I really fell in love with Kevin Smith. I was already a huge fan of his movies at that point when I first saw this, which is why I checked this out in the first place. But this is what made me fall in love with Kevin Smith, you know, the guy, the man, the legend, the myth. His commentary tracks are fun, but this is a 4-hour set. It's visual, so you get to see him, you know, his facial responses, you get to see him gesture, you get to see him interact with his fans. And he's just fantastic in this. This one in particular, this is the first one, there's been like 4 since, which we'll get to. This one in particular is a favorite of mine, though I haven't watched it in so long, because I mainlined it. I did nothing but watch this for like 3 years. This one's a favorite of mine because it's a younger Kevin Smith. It's a Kevin Smith pre-Jersey Girl. It's a Kevin Smith coming off of, like, he newly married. I think his kid, Harley, was maybe like a year or 2 old at this point. You know, essentially he was riding this massive wave at the end of the 90s, before the critics decided he was, you know, not capable of making something else, which of course is bullshit, but this is pre-Jersey Girl, you know, the movie that the critics hated so much that he went back to Kevin Smith type movies with Clerks 2. You know, this is pre-Bruce Willis fucking over his movie. This is pre-Harvey Weinstein turning out to be a fucking evil dickhead. This is pre a lot of stuff. This is almost pre-internet. Like, at this point, This came out in like 2001, 2002, maybe 2003. The internet at this point was not the internet as it is now. There was no Twitter, no MySpace, none of that shit. So there was just a lot less venom in his life, and he comes across a lot less cynical. Still really funny, but it's fun to watch an artist who's kind of at a peak of his career, dealing with, like, I just made all these movies, I've got a legion of fans, you know, I'm about to move on to the next chapter of my career, I got a wife and a kid, this is awesome, here we go. And it's really fun to watch him from that perspective, and look back on it from that perspective. If you were to listen to like any podcast that Kevin Smith made recently, or check out Fat Man on Batman on YouTube, if you were to watch that, where he's, again, doing a similar thing, just kind of shit-talking and having fun, if you were to watch that and then watch a clip from the first evening with Kevin Smith, there's a marked difference. You'd be able to tell immediately, that's what's supposed to happen. People grow up. But I'm a fan of young Kevin Smith. I think he's barely, like, 33 at this point, so I'm closer to this dude in age, you know, I'm closer to that point in my life, and it's just fun to hear him talk. So check out the DVD if you can. I'm sure you can find most of the clips online. If you just Google, you know, Kevin Smith Prince, I'm sure you can find the whole story on YouTube. Same with the Superman story or the Cut My Dick Open story. Again, it's DVD, so physical media is dead. So if you want to find it, I'm sure you can find it at a used DVD store or online for very cheap. It's 2 discs. It's a very full set. Got a lot of cool artwork, banners, the ads they put up at the colleges. And there's a whole shit ton of stories. There are 39 chapters on this DVD. So in theory, that'd be 39 questions, right? But there's even more than that. He talks about all kinds of stuff in this movie. He talks about the pre-production on Jersey Girl. He talks about Ben Affleck taking on the role of Daredevil. He talks about Chasing Amy and has this really interesting conversation with a lesbian college girl and how she feels that movie's kind of misogynistic and dickheadish. Like, it's Chasing Amy is a very not hetero-friendly movie, she feels. So there's a lot of, like, good things in here beyond just a lot of funny jokes and, you know, how Kevin Smith cut his dick open. Jason Mewes, of Jay and Silent Bob fame, he shows up at one point to do some questions, and it's just a fantastic set. It's very long, but like it's just the easiest watch in the world. It's the perfect put it on while you're cooking, or you know, if you're doing something else. If you're a fan of background noise in your world, this would be the perfect thing to have. This would be a great way, if for you Kevin Smith fans out there who your friends don't understand, this is the gateway drug, I feel like. Show this to your friends who are like, why do you love Kevin Smith so much? That's my recommendation. Show them An Evening with Kevin Smith. Any of them, really. What else is there to say about this? There are some Easter eggs. I don't know if you kids remember, but back in the early days of DVD, when you're playing around with the menus, you could sometimes find hidden content. So, you know, say the menu is 3 different things: play, scene selection, special features. If you go to the left on the play feature button, it won't just cycle back, it'll highlight some secret thing in the menu, and you can find some hidden content. So the Kevin Smith Evening with DVD has some Easter eggs on there, some extra stories, a little bit of bonus content. That's always rewarding for fans. I think that's pretty much it. Check it out if you haven't seen it. If nothing else, go to YouTube and look up some of his stories. He still does this to this day. He still tours all the time, going to theaters and colleges and wherever else. In fact, he'll be in Austin in April, and I'm hoping to get tickets and go see him live. I saw him once at the Long Center in Austin doing a Q&A, an evening with, that was really fantastic. I didn't get to ask him a question, so maybe this time if I get a chance to go, I can ask him a question. So it's something he loves. It's his big, it's like kind of the beating heart of who he is, I think, is personal connections with his fans. Like I said, they're all Q&A based. It's not like he shows up and has stories. They're very long stories, so of course he's answered them before and worked on them. But it's all based on where the audience kind of takes it, which I think is a really cool way to perform. And they are performances. It's not like a boring Q&A. They're fantastic stories he tells. He's still doing it. I'm hoping that the next volume of Kevin Smith shit will be out soon. I don't know what it'll be called. But I'm hoping that Volume 5, Volume 6, whatever it is, of An Evening with Kevin Smith will be released sometime soon. Hopefully record one this year. They're all really good to watch, and I'll get to the other ones later because they each cover like the next chapter in what he's been up to in between. So that's pretty much it. Next time I'll be talking about the Clerks comic book. That'll be the last pre-Jersey Girl video I do. Well, I might do a video about myself before that, but the last Kevin Smith pre-Jersey Girl video. So for all you Jersey Girl fans, and I know you're out there, I'll be covering that one next. I have a lot of love for that movie. George Carlin's fantastic in it. And when George Carlin died, that was my go-to watch. I had to watch it. It made me cry. So that's pretty much it for the Evening with Kevin Smith. As always, I don't have to, I guess. It's my YouTube series, and whatever the fuck I want. From now on, we're not talking about Kevin Smith. We're talking about Kevin Hart. Dear Kevin Hart, you're a really funny small black man. No, still about Kevin Smith. As always, I do a Dear Kevin at the end. So, as I said before, I don't tweet these out to Kevin Smith. I don't make him aware of this. I'm leaving that up to, you know, the fates that someday he might see this. Maybe someday, if I'm like episode 100 and I've lost my mind and I'm very disillusioned by it all, I might be like, fucking please, Kevin Smith, watch this. But for now, I'm happy to just kind of let him discover it on his own and not, you know, not throw it down his throat. But this this Dear Kevin's going to be very specific, and hopefully he'll see it before 5 years from now. Hopefully he'll see it relatively soon. So, Dear Kevin Smith, hello, I'm George Efta. I'm a big fan. I hope you like the show so far. I got a lot more to cover. You have a wonderful, long career. I hope you've been reading my screenplays. If you've watched any of them, if you're interested, my scripts are on my blog. You can check out the previous videos, you know, along the recommended video link. Today, I'm talking to you about the Q&A you're doing in Austin. I think on like April 22nd, something like that. Later this month. I can't wait till you get here. I really hope I get tickets. And if I do, hey, my hero's going to be in the same city as me. My hero who I love to work for or whatever. So if you see this video and you feel the inclination, you know, keep watching. If you see this series and you feel the inclination to reach out to me, that'd be a perfect time. It'll be in Austin anyway. So, and hopefully I'll be there at the theater. So if you're here and you want to reach out, that'd be the place to do it. I know some excellent taco places. I have some friends who have access to some, you know, if you want to get it while you're here. I mean, it's Austin. You can find weed wherever you want. But beyond all that, you know, hopefully I just get to shake your hand and, you know, have a little conversation with you. Maybe I'll get to ask you a question. So if you're here in April and you happen to see this before you come, my name is George Efta. I'm a huge fan of yours, or you're an inspiration to me, and I'm also a filmmaker. So if you're looking for a protege, if you're looking for someone to pass the legacy on to, if you're looking to Batman Beyond it here, you know, you could be old Bruce Wayne and I could be the new, whatever that fucking kid's name was in Batman Beyond. If you're looking to pass the legacy on, or any interest in meeting a huge fan of yours, I mean, you were doing that anyway. It's fucking Q&A with all your fans there. But anyway, I'll be here. If you want to fucking reach out to me, please do. And I can't wait to see you. Hopefully it'll be a good show. They always are. And yeah, sincerely, George. So that's that for this week. My Dear Kevin, very personal and specific and needy. Dear Kevin Smith, please fucking talk to me. Which is kind of this whole series anyway. So that's all for now. It's almost the end of my week. I'm working another 7-day week. I got one more night tonight. I'll be going into work. And then I'm off for a few days, so I'm going to hopefully do what I did this week and record a bunch of videos, so I won't miss a day again. And thank you guys for watching. As always, check out the blog, adolescentconceptions.wordpress.com. Check me out on Twitter at George Efta or at final_frames. And I'm on Facebook, George Efta. So hit me back in the comments, share me with your friends, like and subscribe, all the usual YouTube bullshit that they make us say. And I'll see you tomorrow with the Clerks comic book, little 3-issue mini-series he did. So, thanks for watching.